Ms. Sapp, we are now streaming live on YouTube.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today for the District Library Book Objection Committee meeting. The purpose of today's meeting is to review an objection to the book titled Perfect by Ellen Hopkins. School-based and district staff, as well as parent and community volunteers, are invited to participate on each committee. Today's meeting will result in a recommendation that will be forwarded to Mr. Forson, St. Johns County School District Superintendent. The committee meeting is public record and therefore subject to sunshine law. It is being live streamed for public viewing. Committee members are not required to have their camera on during the meeting. We are committed to civility and decorum. Please assist us in maintaining a constructive meeting environment by remaining respectful of each participant during the meeting and afterwards. Additional discussion of the objecting party or committee members outside of this meeting is discouraged. Disparaging comments are contrary to district expectations regarding character and civility. Committee members received several resources in advance of the meeting. The resources included the objecting party's request for reconsideration, a copy of the book, Florida statutes, Florida Department of Education guidance for library media services, professional source reviews, St. Johns County School Board rules, the Library Bill of Rights, and the School Library Media Material Evaluation Checklist. The process for today is as follows. First, the objecting party will have the opportunity to address the committee. They will provide any information they deem compelling or new regarding their request. Next, the committee will have a discussion utilizing the School Library Media Material Evaluation Checklist. Finally, the committee will determine a recommendation for Superintendent Forson. There are two options: retain the book for a designated level or remove the book from all St. Johns County School District libraries. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to attaining consensus. Are there any questions about the process? Seeing no hands, let's begin. Jean Moore is the one objecting party for Perfect. Ms. Moore, this is your time to address the committee. You have up to 5 minutes to share your objection.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your time today. The school district has provided you with the ALA's Library Bill of Rights. Within this document, it says the ALA does not agree with age appropriateness, a parent's right to have full knowledge of what their child is accessing at school, and that our school library should resist applying boundaries around what our public schools house within the media center. Although the school district denies it shares the ideals of the ALA, still they are providing you with their unaltered document. I believe it is a sad state of thinking that school libraries do not need boundaries around what is in their collections. A school library should support curriculum-related research as well as instructional and recreational reading needs of its patrons. School districts should discern carefully what it purchases for collections when they rely heavily on, quote, recognized sources for guidance. The number of awards given to any book cannot be assumed to mean that there is not lewd, vulgar, sexually explicit, or obscene material contained within the covers, as evidenced by the number of inappropriate titles that have been identified so far. The publishing community hands out awards and accolades in the same manner as the movie people do at the Academy Awards. It's meaningless and self-flattery. The book industry also muddies the water by saying books like Perfect are for young adults. Medically speaking, a young adult is age 18 to 22 or 25, depending on what publication you look at, and is defined by developmental factors. The literary industry, according to Wikipedia, says young adults are as young as 11 and 12, just because. Something is very wrong about that. I guess lewd, vulgar, sexually explicit, and obscene materials are okay subjects for 11 and 12-year-olds to be reading about. Here are some examples of inappropriate content from Perfect. I never would have expected Connor to attempt the coward's way out, though. Some consider suicide an act of honor. By putting a gun to his chest, he made an overt, if obscene statement: I will no longer force myself inside of your prefab boxes. I'd much rather check out of here than let you decide the rest of my life. Your is meaning mom and dad. Bulimia is nasty. hanging your head in the toilet after every meal, sticking your fingers down your throat. Real control is not putting in more than you can work off, knowing the exact count and keeping track, shaving off every extra caloric unit you can without passing out. And the most important thing of all, keeping everyone else in the dark. Sean is a hot salt rub, friction against my skin, and it all feels good and right. I reach for his belt and want to touch what's below his belly button. Internet porn. Okay, probably not the best thing for me to be looking at in my spare time, but I figured if anything could encourage this piece of dead wood attached to my groin, that would be it. So far, no good. No giant boobs, not girl on girl action, not even the vilest three-way romp I've ever been not quite disgusted to view. Viagra is definitely for 80-year-old dicks, right? I don't know why it took me so long to find my way to Pharmaceuticalville. I guess I thought pill popping was for losers. I've been tempted to test Viagra solo just to see if things will still work, but it seems like a waste of a roaring boner if those pills do what they promise. Before I can say anything else, my eyes stray to the screen. Two women are kissing. A pretty blonde unbuttons her blue silk blouse, spilling flesh like fruit from a bowl. The other, dark-haired, like Danny, is quick to sample the offering. I can't stop watching. Now, this is what I call a chick flick, says Sean. When he opens my blouse and moves his hand over my skin, I let him. And when he kisses down the front of me, I lie back on the couch, inviting more. Next thing I know, we are both out of our jeans. 15 milligram Meridia is one magic little pill. You don't even want to look at food. I lift myself over her, working forearms and biceps. She closes her eyes and moans as I move into place right up against her sweet spot. And she says, yes, touch me there and all wet. I want to know when you went all gay. Not only a whore, but a lesbo whore? Just when the fuck did that happen? No wonder you didn't want dick. Then again, some leses like dildos. Do you and your little butch girl use those? Because I'd pay to watch. In fact, I could round up a few friends. What do you think? The boner is gone, a sticky glaze left as a reminder inside of my boxers. Aren't there enough avenues in our culture that give our young people unprecedented access to sex, violence, suicide, rape, profanity, etc.? We have truly failed our young readers by shrugging our shoulders at inappropriate content. Students should not have to be put at risk of exposure to books they are not developmentally ready for, such as R and X-rated material that they cannot watch at the movies until 18 years or older, and any adult providing them with the same would be jailed. As I revisit this book, I am just as disgusted as the first time. This is not appropriate content for a school library and should be removed from the collection. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Committee members, we will now begin our discussion utilizing the school library media materials evaluation checklist. As a reminder before we get started, Florida statute states that any materials used in a classroom, made available in a school or classroom library, or included on a reading list may be objected to for 4 specific reasons. The first reason, the material must be removed if the majority of the committee finds that the material is pornographic or prohibited under Section 847.02 of Florida statutes. For the remaining 3 reasons, the committee will determine if there is an appropriate grade level or if the material should be removed. So reason number 2, the material depicts or describes sexual conduct as defined in 847.001 of Florida statutes. Reason number 3, the material is not suited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material. And reason number 4, the material is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used. Keep in mind that our final task on the form is to make a recommendation to Superintendent Forson, and there are 2 options. Retain the book for a designated grade or designated level, or remove the book from all libraries. Again, statute is clear that we must remove the title if there is a violation to question number 4 on our checklist. The floor will be open to discussion, and each committee member will have the opportunity to share. If you would like an opportunity to share, please use the reaction of raising your hand. Comments will be summarized to provide an overall committee response for each question. Please remember to raise your hand to provide a comment. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome. We look forward to working towards consensus. Let's begin. Okay, the first question on our checklist is just a reminder of why the objecting party has challenged the material. So for question number one, we'll actually take the information that was provided by Ms. Moore on her request for reconsideration, and that will be pasted into kind of our collective committee response that we'll forward to Mr. Forson. So she did, she is asking for reconsideration due to sensitive materials, a ratings document that she includes that, reference sexual activities, drug and alcohol abuse, profanity, inflammatory racial commentary, and self-harm. So there's some more specific things, but just know that we're going to take that word for word and we'll place it as the answer for question number one. So moving down to question number two, specific pages in the material cited by the objecting party were reviewed. We answered this question because this allows Mr. Forson to be assured that the committee did look at all of the material that needed to be looked at so we could come up with a good decision. So this is really just a chance to demonstrate that you are citing that, yes, you did review the pages in the book that were cited by the objecting party. So if you did review those pages, please vote now with a yes. And if you were unable to review the pages, you would vote no.
You may remove your vote. There are 7 yes votes.
Thank you, Ms. Lawson. And Carrie, just as I looked up, and I apologize, I saw that your hand was up. Did you have something that you needed to ask or you wanted to add?
No, I just hit that instead of the yes.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to question number three, and this is similar to question number two in that it's just an indication of you were or were not able to use the professional crowdsource reviews for consideration. So if you did look at those professional and or crowdsource reviews and you considered those, you would vote yes. If you did not, you would vote no.
We have 7 yes votes. You may now clear your vote.
Okay. Okay, question number 4. Is the material pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012? For this, if you believe that a material is pornographic and prohibited, you would vote yes. If you believe it is not pornographic and prohibited, according to that Florida statute, you would vote no.
We have 3 yes votes and 4 no votes for question number 4.
Okay, so the majority of the committee has voted that they do not believe that the material is pornographic or prohibited per this statute. So we're going to go ahead and move forward to question number 5.
Sorry, please remove your vote.
Okay, for question number 5, does the material depict or describe sexual conduct defined in Florida statute? If you believe it does depict or describe sexual conduct, you would vote yes. If it does not, you would vote no.
We have 3 yes votes and 4 no votes for question number 5. You may
Okay.
now remove your vote.
Okay, we will move on to
We-
question.
We
Oh,
need everyone to remove their vote, please. Thank you.
we'll move on to question number 6. Is this material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented? Please vote yes or no. Is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material?
We have Mr. I think we may have had a vote change.
Okay.
So hold on 1 second. Let me recapture that. Does everyone, just to confirm, I want to make sure everyone has their correct vote on right now. If not, you can go ahead and change it. Looks like we are good. We now have 3 yes votes and 4 no votes for question number 6. You may remove your vote.
Thank you. Okay, for question number 7, is the material appropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used? Ms. Dixon or,
It's just me.
okay, Ms. Dixon, sorry. Can you tell us where this material is currently located within St. Johns County, at which grade levels?
Yeah, this book is only available in high schools.
High schools, grades 9 to 12. So the question that we're looking at is the material inappropriate for grades 9 through 12? Yes or no? So you can vote now. Is the material inappropriate for grades 9 through 12, which is where it is currently used in our libraries?
We have 4 yes votes and 3 no votes for question 7.
Okay. We're clearing the votes.
Thank you. You may clear your vote at this time.
Okay, so we have had, some close votes. Everybody can see that. So as far as how we're going to move forward, we now have to determine our recommendation for Mr. Forson. So we have to determine, is there a grade level that we would recommend that this book is appropriate? Or is our final recommendation after working our way through these questions that the material is not appropriate and it needs to be removed? I was wondering if there is any discussion, if anyone wants to make any comments at this point, or if someone would like a recommendation of a starting point. Okay, I don't see any hands, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, because it was presented in grades 9 through 12, let's just start there. Is there any discussion of, oh, okay, there we go, Miss Lee. If we started with 9 through 12, or, if you'd like to share any comments, go ahead.
Sure, I'm totally comfortable with it being in the library in high school. As parents, as they've always had, have the option to opt their child out of choosing any library book. Just like an R-rated movie, if you're a parent and you choose to take your child to an R-rated movie, you have that right. If I feel like my child is mature enough to handle it, then I would certainly allow them to check it out of the library. If I don't feel like my child is mature enough to handle a book, then it's, right now I have the option of just opting them out of not being able to check that book out from the library. After reading the book, I feel like it's relevant to that age group and the issues that teenagers are dealing with. And it could possibly start a good discussion if you as a parent read it with your child, if they were having any of these kinds of issues. So my recommendation would be to leave it in the library in high school.
Carrie also has her hand raised.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Carrie, go ahead.
I have the exact opposite feeling as the other commentator. I do not agree that this book belongs even in high school. High schoolers are still minors. To me, the superintendent is going to see what's in this book, and it goes against the law, in my opinion. I mean, we all gave our opinion. In my opinion, this violates 847.012 as it depicts and describes sexual conduct. And I think it's a lot with the suicide, rape, prostitution. I mean, the word fuck is said 30 times. Remember, ninth graders can be 13 years old. And this is why I think that books have gone too far. This Ellen Hopkins, she has had quite a few books quarantined and removed. This is, again, a level 4 out of 5. You gave us the one thing that said about the content. And to me, this was the content that is not appropriate for kids under 18. So my vote would be to remove it from the library.
Any other comments from any committee members before we move forward with a vote? Okay, so I just want to go back and remind everybody. I'm going to go back to the way the law is stated, just to make sure we all have clarity. And then we're going to we're going to take one vote on if you believe we should keep it in 9 through 12, we'll do a yes/no vote. Depending on how that turns out, then we'll go to remove it from the library. So just as a reminder, so the Florida statute states that there are 4 reasons for an objection to a book in a school library. The first reason is that the material is pornographic and prohibited. If we had determined that per the language in statute 847.012 that this material is pornographic or prohibited, it would have to be removed. The majority of the committee did not feel that the book rises to the level being considered pornographic. The second reason is that the material depicts or describes sexual conduct. If the material does depict or describe sexual conduct, or we think that there could be question about whether it's suited for a student's needs and their ability to comprehend, or that it's inappropriate for a certain grade level, then the committee determines what is there an appropriate grade level. So we know that there are some instances of sexual conduct in some of the books that we have, but the committee really has to look at is it okay for a high school student to see that level of sexual conduct? So really that's where we are. We're deciding, are we comfortable with this material being in a high school library or not? So at this time, we're going to start with, please vote on this material is appropriate for grade 9 and up. If you believe it is, you'll vote yes. If you believe it is not, you'll vote no. Okay. So the majority of the committee has voted that they don't think that it's appropriate for grades 9 and up. So let's clear the votes. Thank you for clearing your votes. So we're going to vote again. The material is not appropriate and should be removed from all St. Johns County School District libraries. If this is your vote, please indicate with a yes. The material is not appropriate and should be removed from all St. Johns County libraries. So we didn't get a majority vote on that one either.
So we have 3 yes votes and 4 no votes. You can remove your votes.
Okay, so we don't have a majority on either one of those.
Can I ask?
Yes,
I saw 4 no's and 3 yeses. Mine changed because I clicked the wrong thing.
so the material is
It
not,
is currently for remove from library, there are 3 yeses and 4 nos. Currently for keep in 9 through 12, there are 3 yeses and 4 nos. So both of them actually have 3 yeses and 4 nos.
right, so it sounds like maybe, let's try it one more time. Appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. So let's do, the material is appropriate for grades 9 and up. You would vote yes on this. If you believe we should keep this in the library, you will vote yes. Keep it in the library for grades 9 and up would be a yes on this one. If you don't, then you vote no. Okay, so that's the same vote as we had to put before, correct, Ms. Lawson, Dr. Lawson?
That is correct.
Okay, so now
Is there another,
we're gonna
are
clear,
those the only options, 9 through 12 and remove?
okay, so
Very-
let's clear. And now, so let's vote again. So this next one is the material is not appropriate and should be removed. If you believe and you're voting to remove it from all the libraries, you would vote yes on this one. The material is not appropriate and should be removed. You would vote yes. If you do not agree with that statement, you would vote no. Okay. So looks like that's the one that changed.
Okay, I have the new tally is 4 yes votes and 3 no votes for remove from library.
Okay. Okay,
You
so
can clear, you may clear your vote.
okay, so the recommendation to Mr. Forson, the majority of the committee believes that this material is not appropriate and should be removed. Do we have any comments, any additional comments from anyone on the committee that you'd like included in the recommendation? We've been taking notes, so everything's been captured and the whole recommendation will be shared with Mr. Forson. Okay, Ms. Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to state that there are so many books in the public library or in the school libraries that have exactly the same kind of language and topics. And this book was published in 2011, right? And I'm sure that it was recommended, I think, as a best young adult fiction actually in 2011. And in one of the review places I went to, the Goodreads had 29,000 plus ratings. So people rated the book a 4.32 out of 5. And of those, they actually left reviews. So there were like 1,700 reviews. It's so disappointing to me that now, you know, however many years later, we're deciding that this now needs to be off the shelf in a public library. And it would be interesting to me to see even how many of the students in St. Johns County check this book out. And as a parent of my child who may be gay or a minority or struggling with things, it should be my choice to have my child read it. If you don't want your child to read it, you can, again, I said, opt them out. That's been in place in St. Johns County for, I'm sure, many, many, many years. But when you remove a book from the library, you've taken my child's choice away. And I find that is not acceptable. And it's very disappointing to me that, you know, this is where we are when the majority of books that are being removed have to do with minorities or LGBTQ themes and people of color and race and racism. Those are the books that are being banned. And so it's really disappointing to me that now this is where we're at. So that's just my comment.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Okay, seeing no more hands. Dr. Lawson, is there a hand up or is that by you?
Nope, no hands
Okay.
and nothing in the chat.
Okay, well then I believe this concludes our meeting. Don't leave though yet. I do have a couple of things that I need all of our committee members to do. Sorry, I have to get back to my little script. Okay. Now. I'm gonna have to wing it on this part. Oh, no, here we go. All right. Thank you to our committee members for your participation today. There are two final action steps to conclude our work. First, your acknowledgement as a participation on the committee is needed on the recommendation of Mr. Forson. The recommendation, which includes notes from today's discussion, will be emailed to you. You may acknowledge participation by responding with an email, or you may review and sign the document at our Media Services office at 10 Hildreth in St. Augustine. And as someone mentioned as we were getting started, that is a change. If you've served on a committee before, we were having everyone go to 40 Orange, but we've shifted that. And now, if you do want to do it in person, you would go to the Media Services office at 10 Hildreth. But you may also just respond by email. The second thing that we need you to do is to return your book and any notes from your work that you used to prepare for today's meeting, because it is a meeting that is held in the sunshine. All records are needed, so you'll return those to the location where you picked up your book. Are there any questions before we close the meeting? Okay, seeing none, this concludes the meeting, and thank you very much for your participation.